Hi, I'm Jeff from Cobra Jet Steering, and I wanted to make a quick install video for the new Cobra Venom 16X Magnum. This is the old or original side force stabilizer that bolted onto the nozzle, and you had to drill 2 holes, which were not in any kind of a critical position or a problem, but I tried to make it similar to my Ultimates where you don't have to drill a hole. So I came up with this new base that actually fits right around the nozzle. Has a sticker that says this side up. If you notice, this also much easier to get to the screws than the way this was, where they were behind it. Next, it's also very smooth flow. There's nothing across there that could create any kind of drag whatsoever. So the nice part about my Yamaha steering, either the Ultimates or the Magnums, is that they do not disrupt your wake or create drag or cause you to lose any top speed. You can't look at the wake and tell they're even there. I'm going to take the bottom bolt. It's a 12mm from the factory, and it's in with thread locking compound, so always put thread locking compound back when you change this bolt out. There's a bushing inside the nozzle. Do not lose that bushing. We're going to replace this bolt with a bigger bolt, a very thick washer. There's other washers in this installation, but this is the only one that's thick. Then there's a real wide, it actually acts as a bushing, and then another bushing that goes inside it. Now you have all of that. Put the parts through this side force stabilizer, and what this big one does is it protects the aluminum from movement, and that's what I mean about acting like another bushing where it's a flat bushing. You have to take the factory bushing that came out of here, put it on here. Make sure you put some thread locking compound on here just to be safe. We're going to tighten that up. Now this bolt is, the new bolt is 13mm, it's a little larger head, so take a 13mm wrench, and don't be afraid to tighten it. And once you get it good and tight, you're going to feel just a little tiny bit of play. This piece will be just a little bit loose, and it needs to be. So a lot of people are concerned on the other ones because I didn't really explain. This has to have some play or this nozzle can't turn. Okay? So now that we've got that, what we're going to do is show you that there's also a reverse gate stop built into this. Now this reverse gate stop takes the pressure off your reverse cables, but when you put it in reverse and you power it up, it's pushing, it wants to push down, and what's the only thing that's stopping it from the factory until it ends up stretching the cable enough to hit the nozzle is the cable. So this takes the pressure off your cable. It's an added benefit. It has really nothing to do with the steering. It was just something that I built into all of my steering for quite a while now to help the longevity of your cables. The side bolts on these are also 12mm, so we're going to do one side at a time. I'm going to take the bolt out. And you notice it's a really short bolt. Well, as you can see, it only uses 2 or 3, 4 threads of the boss. So what I decided was, let's make this even stronger, and we'll put a longer bolt. And we'll put a flat washer, this longer bolt, another flat washer. Make sure the bushing is in your reverse. You need that. If it's not, it won't. The reverse is going to hang up, so make sure that's there. And all that turning is bringing that bolt way into that boss to make it a heck of a lot stronger than it was from the factory. Okay, we're going to leave it snug but not too tight. I'm going to go over to the other side and do the same thing. Make sure that bushing's in there. You notice I put the writing on the outside. It really, effectively, it has no bearing on it working. It's just good for me because people can walk up and see it and go, oh, I know what that is, and then order it. We'll put this one. Same thing. One washer on the inside of it, and a washer on the outside of it. On that bolt end. And we'll snug it but not too tight. And as you can see, they independently adjust. And where that comes to play is everybody's different. So if you have a boat that you like just high-speed steering and it's a single engine boat, you can set these up like this. When that boat's on plane, these aren't in the water because the boat comes up out of the water. Let's say you want a little bit of high speed, or a little more, depends on what you want. You set these down. Let's say you have a twin engine boat, same thing. You want lots of steering all the way around, steering off power, steering with the engine off, you put them all the way down. In rough water, in surf, and whatever, you have them all the way down, all the way across. These don't go below the center of your boat, and they do not increase the draft of your boat, so you have really nothing to worry about there. So now, let's say you just want it to be low speed only. With the fins staggered, you can get low speed only the minute you come off plane. And how that happens is this one will be up on the outside of the boat. Say this is the right-hand engine. When your boat comes down in a V, this one isn't touching the water at high speed, or if it is, it's just slightly touching it. And this one, of course, is shielded completely by the hull. So at high speed, it's just like it always was. Once you slow down, these are in the water. Since they're fanned, they're covering a lot of area. So they give you plenty of low speed steering, even though they're not going down exposed below the hull. Now, if you want to bite into the water more, you change the height of the outside fin. Further down, the more effect it has at high speed. It's just that simple. Little tiny adjustment bolts here you put on the outside. Line it up with your side force stabilizer. Takes a little 4mm Allen wrench and a 10mm box wrench. Now you just hold it still, and the beauty of this is it's accessible. Helps if you get the right size wrench. And you notice I'm not having to reach around behind anything. Just straight on. Same with this. And these are nylock nuts. We don't use washers. Just get my little fingers in here to start it. Grab the 10mm. There we go. Once we have them set wherever we want them, and we just tighten up. Just snug them. They don't have to be that tight. And then you're all set. You're ready to go. So that's as simple as it can be. I don't really know where it would get any less complicated than that. This is tempered aluminum. This is very strong. I got one here I'll show you that was shot with a 357 Magnum. You can't hardly even see the ding in it. This part is the same aluminum. It's 6061, but it's not tempered. And the reason for that is you need this when you're turning and stuff. You need this side force stabilizer. You need to really anchor these, not put too much pressure up here, distribute all the forces on the nozzle. But if you were to run along and say hit a rock or a tree stump or something with the outside fin on a V engine, a twin engine V hull, this, even though they don't go below the center of the boat, let's say you ran up onto a rock, you want this to give so you don't break this, and what's going to happen is if it hit it, it would take a lot, but if it hit it hard enough, it'll bend this up. You just take it off and bend it back. And if the worst case scenario, you replace it. All these parts are separate and replaceable, so it's not that big of a deal. So, that's basically all there is to it. As far as the bullet I told you about, I don't know if you can even see it, but that's the little mark that it made, and it was shot at close range. 158 grain. And at the back, you can almost not feel it. I mean, it's just this little tiny dimple there that you wouldn't even notice. So that's some pretty strong stuff. Doesn't flex, doesn't bend, and because of that, it doesn't have to be monstrous and and hang down like a lower unit on an outdrive or something. These are, I'm not sure exactly how deep they go, but there's a tape measure right here. You want it to know from the bottom of your nozzle. No, let me get this around here. About 4 inches. Yeah, that's it. So if you went out and you measured, if you wanted to get a picture of where these sit fully engaged all the way down, you went 1 1/4 inches over from your nozzle, and then went straight down. It's not even this 4 inches, so 3 3/4. The ultimates are a 1/2 inch deeper, and so they're about 4 1/4. So that's it. Pretty simple.